A Belgian Malinois named Iago stands perfectly still in the center of a crowded suburban park. 30 yards away, a golden retriever in a neon harness lunges at the end of its leash, tail thumping, offering a high-pitched invitation to play. To any casual observer, this is a missed social opportunity. But if you look closer at Iago's eyes, you won't see the soft, dilated pupils of a companion animal looking for a friend. You see the cold, fixed tracking of a biological computer. His respiratory rate is controlled, his center of gravity is slightly forward, and his focus is not on the other dog's social signaling, but on the subtle shift in his handler's shoulder. To Iago, that pet dog isn't a peer. It's environmental white noise. This disconnect isn't a failure of training or a lack of personality. It is the result of a profound neurological and ethological divergence. We have reached a point in canine evolution where the working dog and the pet dog occupy the same genus, but inhabit entirely different psychological universes. The traditional view of the domestic dog is built on the fallacy of the intraspecific pack, the idea that all dogs share an inherent universal desire to bond with their own kind. In the world of high-tier working K9s, this anthropomorphic projection is not only incorrect, it's dangerous. For a Tier 1 patrol dog or a high-level detection asset, the concept of a pack has been surgically redefined through generations of selective breeding and intensive operant conditioning. While a pet dog's evolutionary success relies on its ability to integrate into a multi-species social unit through oxytocin-mediated bonding, the working dog's success is predicated on the exclusion of those very same impulses. Their social horizon is vertical, directed upward toward the handler, rather than horizontal toward other dogs. When a working dog encounters a pet, there is no shared language. One is speaking in the dialect of social cohesion and play-soliciting gestures. The other is scanning for tactical relevance or predatory triggers. This gap begins deep within the neurological architecture of the high-drive mind. If we were to map the brain of a working-line German Shepherd and compare it to a companion-bred counterpart, the differences in the ventral tegmental area and the nucleus accumbens would be staggering. In the working dog, the seeking system, the neural pathway responsible for foraging, hunting, and goal-directed movement, is perpetually on a hair trigger. These dogs are dopamine junkies, but not for the dopamine of a belly rub. They are tuned to the anticipatory dopamine spike that occurs right before a high-intensity task. When a working dog is in a state of high arousal, their brain is flooded with catecholamines that sharpen sensory perception while simultaneously narrowing their social aperture. In this state, the social cues of a pet dog, the play bow, the soft eye contact, the submissive grin, are not processed as communication. They are processed as friction. To understand why this bond fails, we have to look at the mechanics of the arousal curve. A companion dog typically operates within a narrow band of emotional intensity. When they meet another dog, they negotiate a middle ground of excitement. A working dog, however, is bred for drive capping, the ability to hold immense amounts of kinetic energy under a thin veneer of control. Their threshold for stimulation is extremely low, meaning it takes very little to activate their predatory motor patterns. When a pet dog bounds toward a working canine, it often inadvertently triggers the working dog's prey drive. The pet's erratic, high-pitched movement mimics the frantic struggle of a prey animal. Because the working dog has been genetically selected for a heightened grab-bite reflex and a high-intensity hunt drive, the social intent of the pet is lost in the neurological noise of a predatory response. The working dog isn't being mean. Its brain is simply interpreting a social invitation as a tactical event. This ethological friction is further complicated by the communication gap. Domestic dogs use a complex series of calming signals to de-escalate tension. But a tactical canine is often trained to ignore these signals in favor of absolute environmental neutrality. In the field, a dog that stops to sniff a greeting or offer a reciprocal tail wag is a dog that has lost its focus on the mission. Over time, this lack of practice in canine social rituals leads to a form of linguistic atrophy. They become the equivalent of a highly specialized forensic scientist who has forgotten how to make small talk at a cocktail party. They can find 3 grams of C4 in a 5-acre warehouse, but they have no idea how to tell a Shih Tzu they come in peace. The most critical factor in this social isolation, however, is the role of the handler as the ultimate dopamine vector. In a standard household, a dog looks to other dogs for play and the humans for resources. In the working canine world, the human is the source of all high-value reinforcement. The tug, the sleeve, the ball, the praise, everything that satisfies the dog's biological imperatives comes through the handler. This creates a closed-loop system. The handler and the dog form a dyadic bond so intense that it becomes a biological monopoly. When a working dog looks at a pet, it sees something that is, at best, a distraction from the handler and, at worst, a competitor for the handler's attention. The neurochemistry of the working bond is built on the specific synchronization of the handler's cues and the dog's motor responses. This neural sync is so rewarding to the dog that the presence of another canine offers no additional value. Why would a dog care about a random encounter with a labradoodle when it is waiting for the one specific syllable from its handler that will unlock a flood of neurochemical rewards? This brings us to the concept of environmental neutrality versus socialization. In the pet world, socialization means teaching a dog to interact and play with others. In the tactical canine world, this is considered a liability. We don't want our dogs to be social, we want them to be neutral. We train them to treat other living beings as part of the background, no different than a fire hydrant or a parked car. This training reinforces the dog's natural genetic predisposition toward social isolation. By the time a working dog reaches maturity, its brain has been pruned through both nature and nurture to prioritize task-specific stimuli over social species stimuli. They aren't loners in the human sense. They are specialized tools whose social needs are fully met by the work itself. We also have to consider the physical reality of the working dog's sensory world. Their olfactory receptor mechanics are tuned to a specific target odor threshold. When they are working, their vomeronasal organ is filtering out the scent of other dogs to find the microscopic particles of a specific explosive or narcotic. Their acoustic sensitivity is geared toward the click of a safety or the rustle of a hidden suspect, not the playful yip of a companion. To force a bond between these two types of dogs is to ask them to ignore their own biology. A working dog's bite pressure distribution is designed for combat and holding. A pet's mouth is designed for soft play and scavenging. When these two worlds collide, the pet is often the one that suffers because it cannot fathom the intensity of the working dog's reality. It is a relationship forged in the crucible of high-stakes environments, built on a foundation of operant conditioning where every movement has a consequence. This intensity creates a psychological barrier that pets simply cannot cross. The working dog lives in a world of clear binaries: work or rest, target or neutral, handler or environment. There is no category in their mind for a friend. When we see a police canine or a specialized search dog sitting stoically as a pet barks nearby, we shouldn't feel sorry for their lack of social life. We should respect the incredible mental discipline it takes to exist in that state of professional detachment. Ultimately, the reason working dogs can't bond with pets isn't because of a lack of emotion, but because of a different kind of devotion. Their hearts and minds are fully occupied. Their social needs are not found in the chaotic, unstructured play of a dog park, but in the precision of a heel, the clarity of a search, and the quiet understanding shared with the human at the other end of the lead. They have traded the broad, shallow social world of the domestic pet for a narrow, deep, and incredibly intense connection to a mission and a partner. In the end, the science shows us that these dogs aren't missing out on anything. They have simply found a different way to be a dog, one where the pack is a team of two, and the rest of the world is just the stage where they perform their life's work. This evolution of the working canine serves as a reminder of the sheer plasticity of the species. We have taken the ancestral wolf and, through the lens of human necessity, split its psyche into 1,000 different directions. The pet dog is our mirror, reflecting our need for companionship and unconditional social warmth. The working dog is our extension, reflecting our need for precision, protection, and tireless drive. These two paths have diverged so significantly that the bridge between them has collapsed. And that's okay. To understand the science of why they don't bond is to truly appreciate the working dog for what it is. A masterpiece of biological engineering, a creature of singular focus, and a partner whose loyalty is so concentrated that there simply isn't any left over for anyone else. As the Malinois Iago finally turns away from the barking golden retriever, he doesn't do so out of disdain. He does it because his handler has just shifted their weight by 2 inches, a signal that the break is over and the work is about to begin. The golden retriever continues to bark, seeking a connection that Iago doesn't even recognize as a possibility. Iago's pupils constrict, his ears swivel forward, and his entire nervous system aligns with the task ahead. He doesn't need a friend. He has a purpose. And in the complex, high-voltage world of the working canine, purpose is the only bond that truly matters.